Hi, today we will be starting with virtual reality and heritage. This refers to the use of virtual reality in museum and historical settings. Example, visitor centers. These settings employ interaction as a means of communicating information to general public in new and exciting ways. There has been a move away from traditional type of experience associated with museums, galleries, and visitor centers. The old model was that of passive engagement, in which people viewed the exhibits but did not get involved to an experience in which interaction is the main feature. Interactive displays form a large part of many exhibitions and particularly appeal to children. Children are often difficult to attract to a museum or gallery as they tend to see this as a boring experience. But the use of interactive technologies such as virtual reality has changed that perception and opened up these spaces to a new audience. Virtual reality heritage sites. Examples of virtual heritage sites include monuments, Stonehenge, sculptures, caves, historical buildings, archaeological digs, old towns and villages. Virtual reality has been used to construct virtual walkthroughs of these sites, which enhances the visitor's experience. Virtual reality in business. Virtual reality is being used in a number of ways by the business community, which include virtual tours of business environment, training of new employees, a 3D view of a product. Many businesses have embraced virtual reality as a cost effective way of developing a product or service. For example, it enables them to test a prototype without having to develop several versions of this, which can be time consuming and expensive. Plus, it is a good way of detecting design problems at an early stage, which can be dealt with sooner rather than later. Virtual reality in engineering. Virtual reality in engineering. Virtual reality engineering includes the use of 3D modeling tools and visualization techniques as part of the design process. This technology enables engineers to view their product in 3D and gain a greater understanding of how it works. Plus, they can spot any flaws or potential risks before implementation. This also allows the design team to observe their product within a safe environment and make changes as and where necessary. This saves both time and money. What is important in the ability of virtual reality to depict fine grained details of engineering product to maintain the illusion. This means high-end graphics, video with a fast refresh rate, and realistic sound and movement. Virtual reality and the design cycle. In some ways, virtual reality can be used from the start of the design life cycle. Example, the initial concept through to the build and implementation stages. This is reviewed at stages to check for faults, structural weaknesses, and other design issues. Virtual reality and rail construction. Virtual reality engineering is employed by Balfour Beatty Rail, a rail infrastructure contractor who includes this as part of the design process. It is used for planning, prototyping, and construction purposes and helps with product realization. Virtual reality and car design. Car manufacturers use virtual reality for prototyping purposes during the design process. This enables them to produce several versions, which are then tested and changed as per the results. This removes the need to build a physical prototype and speeds up the development stage. This result is a cost effective, streamlined process. An example of this can be seen at the GLR Virtual Reality Center in UK. This is state of the art virtual reality, both semi-immersive and cave systems, which with advanced tracking and projection facilities, which is used to help design the next generation of Land Rovers. Virtual reality in sports. Virtual reality is used as a training aid in many sports, such as golf, athletics, skiing, cycling, etc. It is used as an aid to measure athletic performance as well as analyzing technique and is designed to help with both of these. It is also used in clothing equipment design and as part of the drive to improve the audience's experience. Virtual reality performance. The athlete uses this technology to fine tune certain aspects of their performance. For example, a golfer looking to improve their swing, or a track cyclist wanting to go faster in the individual pursuit. Three-dimensional systems can pinpoint aspects of an athlete's performance which require cha- charging, changing, for example, their biomechanics or technique. Diving equipment design and innovation. Another popular use is sports manufacture. Virtual reality is used in the design of sporting clothes and equipment. Example, running shoe design. Innovation is a key factor in this industry as the bar is raised higher and higher in terms of sporting achievement. Sports people are constantly looking at ways of gaining them that edge, which can mean being faster, stronger, better endurance, etc. They are constantly pushing boundaries as regards what their bodies can do, which drives the sport clothing and equipment industry. This industry has to keep pace with this constant drive for sporting perfection and uses the very latest technology to do so, bringing the sporting event closer to the audience. Virtual reality has also been used to improve the audience's experience of a sporting event. Some systems allow the audience to walk through a stadium or other sporting locations, which helps them when purchasing a ticket to an event. And then there are virtual reality games with a sport theme, which allow the player to become part of the competition. One example is an interactive football game, which projects this match into a real world surface. Virtual reality in media, virtual reality in film and TV. Virtual reality has featured in several films and television programs. It is often used to illustrate the concept of being trapped within the machine, or in this case, cyberspace, or as a form of advanced technology. Examples of virtual reality inspired films include The Lawnmower Man, The Matrix, Tron, 1982 version, The 13th Floor, Extisions, Vanilla Sky, and then there are television programs such as selected episodes of Doctor Who, Red Dwarf, and Star Trek. The next generation, which utilize virtual reality technology. One example is the holodeck, as seen in Star Trek, which enables the person to experience any situation they so wish. Virtual reality music. This technology has formed part of experimental sound displays and sound installations. Another use is virtual reality musical instruments, which the person can interact with these instruments as new type of performance or to create new compositions. Virtual reality books. Virtual reality has been a staple theme of many fictional stories, such as William Gibson's Neuromancer and Mona Lisa Overdrive, as well as Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game. Virtual reality art. There are artists who can use virtual reality to explore certain ideas or concepts. They create a three-dimensional environment as a form of communication with the audience. One example is the work of Kenneth Rinaldo, who uses robotics and augmented reality to explore ideas related to the human technology boundary. Virtual reality and scientific visualization. Virtual reality is being increasingly used in the field of scientific visualization. This field is based upon using computer graphics to express complex ideas and scientific concepts. For example, molecular models of statistical results, a tool for conveying complex information. Scientific visualization is used as a means of communication, communicating ab- abstract concepts to an audience, which also aids with understanding the audience. Example, viewing a molecular structure at different angles or as a means of solving problem. Virtual reality enables scientists to demonstrate a method or convey complex ideas in a visual format. This includes semi-immersive and full immersive environments in which they visualize research theories or discuss large data sets used across the sciences. This is used in the following scientific disciplines: physics, chemistry, biology, medicine, astronomy, engineering. Reality in telecommunications. Telecommunications is another field which has utilized virtual reality technology, in particular mobile communications, which enables easy access to a variety of VR based products. The main challenge is that of dealing with a medium that mainly relies upon tone of voice, intonation, gesture, and body language as compared to spoken words. In fact, spoken words not only account for a very small percentage of the overall, but traditional forms of communication, such as the telephone, are being superseded by video conferencing, Skype, live chat, Google Meet, Zoom, etc. These communication mediums can be used on the internet and other similar systems and are seen as cheaper and more flexible. Telecommunications can be used to help virtual reality systems such as surgery simulation or telemedicine. An example of this is remote surgery, in which images from the surgery can be transmitted to various locations around the world. It also enables surgery to be performed in remote locations using robotic technology and virtual reality. Virtual reality in construction. The benefits. Building a construction project in a virtual environment offers many key benefits. One of the most obvious of these is having the ability to test a number of factors without the time and cost of building the structure, reducing the number of errors present in the completed building. Viability. One important factor that needs to be thoroughly tested is the viability of an architectural design for many years. Human judgment and scale models were the only methods to determine whether a structure was viable or not. As we know, human judgment can be highly and sometimes intentionally erroneous, and scale models cannot fully simulate the environment the structure must withstand. Virtually exploring the design. Not only can the viability of of a building can be tested before it's built, construction workers and employees can actually explore it. Feedback about a design from this is phenomenal. Being able to pick up even small details such as whether a worker can fit within a space. Mm. Furthermore, construction of a building can be simulated in virtual reality as it would in its normal environment. This allows an organization to fine tune construction processes for maximum efficiency and a minimum amount of change. Virtual reality in films. Virtual reality is a very common theme in science fiction movies, where it is often used as a way to turn the fantastical into something that seems totally real. Tron, for instance, was one of the first movies to use virtual reality as a plot element. The main characters were taken from reality and transported into a virtual world inside a computer. This is not 100% like the virtual reality we know today, but but the concept of another reality inside of a computer remains the same. Some of the most popular movies of our time use concepts of virtual reality. Some of these movies, which you've probably heard of, include Tron, Vanilla Sky, Ready Player One. The list continues indefinitely. We can certainly expect such a list to continue growing in the future as the ideas behind virtual reality are fully explored in film. Second Life's Film Festival. Second Life at one time partnered with the 48-hour film project to produce the first festival to take place in a virtual world. The participants of the festival had to create a film set totally within the world of Second Life in true 48 HFP style. They were given a genre, a character, a proper, and a piece of dialogue, which must be incorporated into their films, and went away to write and edit a single live film within 48 hours. The winners of the Virtual Reality Film Festival were given the opportunity to have their films shown at the real life 48-hour film project event. Virtual reality programming languages. For virtual reality to be truly effective, it must have a good sense of realism. Just on its own, this is a technical challenge, and as such, virtual reality is highly demanding on many resources, from hardware performance to the intellectual ability of implementer of the system. How are these managed? It is a massive issue. As mentioned above, the realism involved in virtual reality requires a large amount of hardware resources. The most obnoxious requirement is processing speed, which will become more of a problem as Moko's law becomes less effective. A convincing virtual environment must have extremely realistic visuals as good usage of the GPU, general processing unit, for graphics rendering. It is also a definite requirement. Sound is also another factor, and the quality of audio output must be extremely high, which requires good use of the sound card. This barely scratches the surface of the technical requirements involved. Not only is the use of hardware an issue, the person using these resources must also be high skilled. A good knowledge of in depth computer science topics is a must, usually requiring postgraduate education. Much like software development today, as time progresses, the field expands. These requirements must be dealt with efficiency and barrier of entry must be lowered. One such method is to employ a domain specific programming language geared especially towards virtual reality. Programming languages, especially specifically for virtual reality, a domain specific language can be carefully tailored to a problem domain in many critical ways. This applies to virtual reality too. Carefully crafting the correct language to virtual reality will allow developers to write less code, which is optimized especially for the creation of a virtual environment. Virtual programming languages. Enter visual programming languages. This programming language was invented by Jaron Lanier of VPL Research to aid the building of virtual reality experiences. VPL is described as post-symbolic programming language, which is taken to mean programs are written by the means other than letters, numbers, and other written characters. For reference, most computer programs are written using the letters of the alphabet, numbers, and punctuation characters. Microsoft have developed a language with the same name which fits a post symbolic description using drawings as a method of writing programs. players in virtual reality, like in Ready Player One, the movie. Major players in virtual reality: Oculus, HTC, Sony. As of the end of 2018, the three best selling virtual reality headsets were Sony's PlayStation VR, Facebook's Oculus Rift, and the HTC Vive. This was not a surprise, seeing as the same three HMDs had also been bestsellers in 2017. 2019 sees the VR landscape broadening with Google, HP, Lenovo, and others looking to grab a piece of the still burgeoning market. Originally funded as a Kickstarter project in 2012 and engineered with the help of John Carmack, founder of ID Software of Doom and Quake fame, Oculus became the early leader in virtual reality hardware for video games. Facebook bought Oculus in 2014 and brought the company company's high-end VR HMD to market for consumers. More recently, Oculus has seen success with the lower price, lower powered Oculus Go. And 2019, we will see the release of multiple new iterations on the hardware, including the tethered Rift S and standalone Oculus Quest. The HTC Vive has been one of the best VR HMDs on the market since its consumer release back in 2016. Manufactured by HTC, the Vive was the first VR HMD to support Stream VR. The Vive has been logged in fierce competition with the Oculus Rift since release, as both headsets aimed at the same top end of the VR enthusiast market. The Vive has proven itself a durable workhorse for enterprise solutions, while also delivering one of the best consumer VR experiences available. The Vive was first released back in 2016 and has gone through several iterations with the addition of a wireless module. The Vive Pro came out in 2018 and the Vive Pro I and the HTC Vive Cosmos are both slated for release in the second half of 2019. Sony's PSVR. Sony's entry into the market is the lowest powered of the three best selling VR HMDs. But the PSVR has a big advantage over the Rift and Vive because it's tethering the PlayStation 4 gaming system. There was an enormous pre existing user base of 10, tens of millions of gamers, many of whom were eager to try their hand at VR because that user base already had a PS4. Sony's customers didn't have to purchase or upgrade their computer hardware, making the PSVR the most affordable of the high-end HMDs. As such, the PSVR is the best-selling virtual reality HMD on the market, moving over 4 million units since its initial release and showing that, if nothing else, VR gaming is here to stay. HMD plus smartphone virtual reality. There is a second class of virtual reality HMD that is really just a shell with special lens. that pairs with a smartphone to deliver a VR experience. These devices can sell for almost nothing and are often given away free and deliver a scaled down VR experience that still approaches the immersive experiences generated by much more expensive hardware. I got one for $2. Meet the VR virtual newcomers, lesser known manufacturers. Additional VR HMDs made by companies both big and small are now hitting the market, making up for a lack of pedigree in the space. With immersive tech specs and lower price points, it remains to be seen if any of these second tier options have the juice to break through and become a leader in the VR space. HP Reverb VR, Lenovo Mirage Solo, Pixma 8K, Pixma 5K Plus, Pico G2 and G2 4K, Panasonic, Gen Basic, Star VR, and more. Thank you. This is the end of our course. Stay tuned for more videos.